let's make this beautiful floral basket in under 15 minutes. All right, let's go. This project comes together very, very quickly. So there's just really a few steps. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to be prepping our basket. Okay, and what we want to do is make sure that we're filling in all of these gaps. So we're going to take our Spanish moss. I know this is so messy, but a little goes a long way. So what we want to do is start filling in from the very bottom of our basket. And you can just use your fingers. You can use a pair of scissors to push it down. But again, we want to kind of keep this on the airier side so that we have enough to just cover the front. Okay, so let's see a little more. Let's not be cheap with the moss, right? All right, so right now I'm covered to about here. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take our foam block and we're gonna be covering every side except for the top and the bottom. Okay, so we're also gonna be using our floral pins, which are these little guys that came with the kit, if you purchased a kit. So I'm going to take my first thing of moss and put it on one side, okay? And we really want to make sure that we're disguising the block. We do not want the screen block showing through. And I'm just going to take one of my floral pins and I'm just going to put it anywhere. It's really just to make sure that, in general, it's going to stay on, okay? Now I'm going to go to my side. See again, with moss. Okay. Take my moss and take my second floral pin. Okay, and you got to make sure you hear that lovely sound of it going through the block. Okay, now we're going to go over to our next side. Take more of our Spanish moss. We did this at Brasante, and oh my gosh, this place was so messy with 15 people using a case and a half of moss. All right, so we're just repeating the same thing. We're going to take our floral pin, stick it in there, and now we just have one more side to go. And take your fourth floral pin and put it in. Okay, so everything is covered again except for the top and the bottom. So now we're going to take our block and slide it in. All right, so we want to make sure that our block is just kind of flush with the top of our basket. Just tuck this moss right in. And there we go. All right, so again, this comes together very, very quickly. We are going to take our ficus leaves. Okay, and I use cable cutters. Wire cutters would work as well. So we're going to just spread out the branches. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to trim each of them right at the base. Okay, so we're going to take this one stem of ficus and break it up into 3 pieces. All right, now we're going to repeat that with our next piece of ficus. So just give it a little bend. These materials are very durable. They are not going to break, very malleable, so do not be afraid of damaging them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tallest ones we have. We have 2 tall ones. Those were our middle branches. And we're going to start right here in the center towards the back of the block, okay? So you can see right here, there's 1. Now we're going to repeat 2. Okay, right? And now we're going to take our smaller pieces and we're going to continue along the back. So I like to do things in a mirrored fashion just to make sure that everything's balanced. Plus I'm like very OCD. So right now we're just filling in the back. And I have a couple pieces left. I'm just going to put these aside for now. Now we're gonna work with our largest blooms first. Okay, this is a pattern design, which I love because it just comes together very quickly. So towards the back, I'm gonna take my first hydrangea stem and put it in. I want it to be lower than our ficus, okay? And so we're still working in the back. Now we're gonna take our second piece of hydrangea and we're gonna go more in the middle of the block. And we wanna make sure this is lower than our first one, okay? So let's see, good angle for you. Okay. And again, we're gonna repeat our steps. So we're gonna take our third piece of hydrangea, which I love these, by the way. They're very lifelike looking. And we're gonna put this over towards the side. All right, a little tough, had to use a little muscle there. Okay, so right now we have our 3 hydrangeas in place. Now we're gonna go in with our peonies. I love these, very lifelike. So we have 5 of these. And what I like about patterns is that the flowers are gonna kind of tell us where we wanna go. So I'm gonna take my first peony stem, I'm gonna put it in between where these hydrangeas are located, okay? And I don't want them to be the same height as either. So I'm gonna have it just a little bit in the middle. Now I'm gonna repeat on this side. Slide it in like so. And then moving towards the front, I'm gonna put one right here in the middle. And then we're gonna put one on either side. And I'm gonna have these facing outward a little bit. I always like to bend the heads of these blooms, just like how flowers grow in nature. They grow towards the sun, and so when making an arrangement that we want to be looking, you know, have that natural appearance, I think that that helps to give a little nod there. Okay, now we have here, we have our filler flowers. Okay, so these bushes, these are called pushers because you can kind of adjust the greenery on it. You don't want to push them too fast or too hard just because the tops will pop off. All right, so I slid all those up. And now I'm going to cut these at the very base. I want to get as much height on this as possible. For the kits, I believe your filler flowers are more of like a pinkish purple. You're lucky I didn't have any of that, so I'm going with the white. All right, now we want to kind of sprinkle these throughout, so you can really start anywhere. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to start in the front. And I'm going to put one on either side of this first bloom. And let me see. These are a little bit on the short side, so what I'm going to do is put them on floral picks. I'm really hoping I gave you some floral picks, but I am second guessing that right now. Okay, but so this is a floral pick. What we do is we just, to extend the stem, we're just gonna hold this up to our stem and just take the wire that's already on the floral pick and just wrap it up. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat that. Okay, take our next one. This is also a good trick if you happen to cut something too short. So that's why I say when we're working with artificial florals, there is really nothing to, you know, worry about with the materials. You really can manhandle these guys. let's see, that's all I need. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go to kind of like our next layer. So it's like layer 1, layer 2, and then layer 3. So on our second layer, go and throw those in between. We want something that's going to keep the flowers separate. That way it's not just like a big clump of florals. Okay, over here. The white is pretty, but the ones that you have are, I like better with this color combo. The white looks really nice with the coral. All right, so I'm just kind of dispersing these evenly throughout. And then I'm going to go back to the front and put some down. One in the middle. And you can really do this however you see fit. The way we put our flowers in, nothing's going to be identical. So if you see a gap or, you know, an open hole, then I would just go ahead and add some filler. I'm going to put one off to the side. And then one off on the other side. Next, we're going to go in with our filler greens. So I love this. This is mixed fern. This is another thing that is a pusher. So you can just take the greenery and just like gently slide it up. This is another one. If you kind of go too quick, then it all falls apart. So, all right. And now we're just repeating that same thing. Wherever I see, you know, some open area, I'm just going to go in with my fern. This looks so lifelike. Okay. Let's see. One more here. There goes Bruno. Steve is back from the groomer. Okay, so let's just see. It's always good to take a step back, especially when you're working really close to something. You lose perspective a little bit. So just in looking at this, what happened here? Bruno, bring it back. Okay, next is our bow. You looked out because if you were in the class, I had everybody make their bows. That did not go over as well as I'd hoped. So your bow is already made and you do have a floral pick for this. Okay, so we're going to take our floral pick. We're going to use the wire that's on our bow. It's just a lot heavy, you know, more heavy duty. So I'm just going to kind of ignore that copper wire. And starting at the top, okay, I'm just going to wrap this all the way around until all the wire is twisted around. And you can position your bow any way you like. Some people did it in the middle and it looked great. I was putting mine off to the side. I'm saying it looks French. I have no idea if that's really accurate, but that's what I'm going with. So a nice floppy French bow. So this is our final product. Like I said, it comes together very easily. This is a really quick craft that it looks like a lot more work went into it than we actually had to do. But yeah, so this is our final result. This has this long rope, so it can be hung indoor, out. Great gift, all that stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. Thanks.